Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to Apex Online Racing. This is round 3 of the Tier 2 Sprint Cup Series. Had some exciting races so far. We had round 1 at Barcelona, then we had Indianapolis last week, and we are in the States again this evening for Watkins Glen. And this is the first of the mini endurance rounds. 90 minutes of racing coming your way this evening, which means no mandatory tyre changes, no mandatory pit stop whatsoever, so you can do fueling as well, do what you need to do to get those 90 minutes of racing all done. Always turn into a nice little exciting race, and it's looking like qualifying is just getting underway now. A couple of cars getting a bit squirrely coming out of the pits there. And we will try and see who is our first driver out on the track. It appears to be car number 69 of Ryan Cooper, who came first last week. Obviously hoping to continue his success stateside here at Watkins Glen. It is possible mixed weather. I mean, qualifying, it's showing it's going to rain in about 30 minutes. Obviously not going to affect them, as they are only going to be doing 15 minutes of qualifying. But just to get a little bit of an idea of the championship at the moment, the driver we're keeping an eye on, Ryan Cooper, racing for the Jimmy Holm Appreciation Team. He is currently leading our championship with 188 points. And then we have Nestorov in second place with 144 for the Ogun Motorsport BPM Soft team. Kubacki in third place with 136 points. Kondabarov in fourth with 120. Rounding out the top 5 is Kachowski with 107 points for the Your Way Racing team. Oh, I should have said there as well. Kondabarov racing for the OGA Motorsport BPM Soft team as well. So in terms of the Teams Championship, at the moment, we've got OGA Motorsport BPM Soft with 264 team points. Jimmy Holm Appreciation Team in second with 215 points. And Team SGSS Racing with 125 points. So a bit of a two-horse battle at the moment between OGA Motorsport and the Jimmy Holm Appreciation Team. This is our first flying lap we're going to get to see right now. It's one of those circuits here that you either love or hate. I personally love this track. It's absolutely fantastic. Flying up the back straight now towards the inner loop. And the Bentley looking very poised here. Hopefully you're not going to see too many cars stacking up towards the end of the qualifying lap. I know we saw that a little bit in Indianapolis last week, where there were so many cars on the circuit where everyone was getting absolutely bunched up towards the end of the lap. And we do have a whopping 38 cars in our field this evening. And we'll stick on board with Ryan Cooper just for the rest of this lap. Keep an eye on it. Oh, yellow flag in the background for car number 7. It is only qualifying, so we won't jump back for the replay on that one, as it could just be an abandoned lap for whatever reason. So, one corner left to go. What is going to be our first flying lap? What are we going to see here? Ryan Cooper sets a time of 1:45.002. And how long can they hold on to it? A little bit of a jump back onto some of other drivers. Still a little rummage at Jimmy Holm in the homing missile, the 777 car. Sort of chromy gold colour. I mean, chromy green colour, apologies. Got my G's wrong. I'm not sure what kind of lap time this is going to be. What are we going to see here? What is Jimmy Holm putting in first time round? There we go, up into third place. Good, strong effort straight out the gate. He did it like he got a little bit unsettled during that lap as well, and so that was a 1:45.110. So 100th of a second, just over 100th of a second behind Ryan Cooper at the moment. Absolutely wonderful sounding car, this V10 Lamborghini. Great to see it being so competitive as well this season. Got some other names coming into the top. We'll jump on board with Gubaki. In the GTR of all things, currently running in 7th place on the grid. Oh, I think that might have been a little bit deep there. I doubt that's going to be a clean lap. I think that was just a little bit too deep on the exit. I think turn 10 caught them out. Yes, it did. Currently going down to 10th place. You could really see the car, though, absolutely shifting on the suspension. Kabaki now calling it a day. Jumping back in, presumably going to get some fresh tyres and go back out again. We'll jump on board. As soon as we jump to them, they have disappeared into the pits. Lejekas. Jumping on board that monthly EMA Grello coloured car. Is it green or is it yellow? It's a bit of both. It's Grello. Car number 66. Brief yellow flag. The Lejekas currently running in 6th place on the grid. Oh, and there we go. And Ryan Cooper with an improvement of the 1:44.637. Lejekas still up on his lap time, still improving, so we're going to stick with this car for a little moment. He heads down towards turn 8, the heel. The car turned in, does keep it clean there. So last sprint to the line was in 6th. And where's he going to come as he crosses the line? Up into 4th place. Good improvement for him. Nestorov, another driver on an improvement and coming towards the end of the lap for OGA Motorsport. Was in 7th. And what are we going to get here as it comes across the timing line? Up to 3rd place. Really, really good effort. Is there anyone further back that's on big improvements? Kondaborov on a big improvement. One corner left to go. 0.3 up on the lap time at the moment. We're probably going to see a nice improvement here. Was in 15th. Now up into 8th place. Gets themselves inside the top 10. Bjorkvist, another driver out in the Nissan Nismo Motul. 0.4 up on their lap time at the moment. 20th place on the grid. 2 corners left to go. What are we going to see as they come across the line? Still improving at the moment. Oh, and no improvement. It must have been invalidated. Here we go, another driver on a decent improvement. Colosi for the Viro Corsa Racing team. 31st place at the moment. Here we go again. Kubaki on a decent lap. I'm not sure if that may have just invalidated it though. That looked a little bit deep into the corner. There was a yellow flag there for car number 23. Two corners left to go. You can see the way the car lurches over. Oh, and that was very unfortunate. Car number 769 rotated on the final turn. That was a bit of an odd one. And Kabaki does not improve on that one. That was a right old odd moment there. I'm not sure what happened with that car. Jump aboard with someone else. Zorax racing for Visceral Esports in the 666 car. They say the McLaren is faring slightly oddly in the current BOP. It's a very consistent car and it's kind of pretty good everywhere, but it doesn't have that sort of X factor that a lot of the cars have, where they're really good in one particular spot. So Chris Vining, one corner left to go. As he hooked it up, was in 11th, up into 2nd place. Absolutely massive jump up through the order. So now the top of it is looking like Cargaloo in pole position, Vining in 2nd, Nesterov in 3rd. And with 4 minutes left of qualifying, it could still ill change. Jimmy Holm and Ryan Cooper now pushed off those podium positions. Is there anyone else out there on improvements? Samiran is on an improvement for the Super Snell racers. Oh, this is going to possibly be something to keep an eye on. One of the races that is not meant to be taking part in qualifying is qualifying, which is obviously not fantastic. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Bit of an odd one. They definitely should not be out on track. They have been informed, and it is up to the driver to keep an eye on that sort of thing. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with that one. Right, but continuing on with actual qualifying. Chris Vining now has taken the top spot. So Vining, followed by Cargaloo, followed by Nashkadashvili, Ryan Cooper, and then Nesterov rounding out the top 5 drivers at the moment. Nashkadashvili is on an improvement as well. That's just dropped off of that improvement. Ryan Cooper is someone on an improvement, and right near the end of the lap as well. might see him retake that pole position with this lap. Everyone with bated breath. And up into second place. Jimmy Holm, another driver on a decent improvement. Coming towards the end of the lap now. Swings it through turn 9. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. Hopefully it stays reasonably clear. Turn 10. One corner left to go. He is on an improvement, and so is Nesterov as well. But this should be enough to get him into pole position, if I'm not mistaken. Comes across the line, 4th. I thought he had more. I think he lost a little bit of time just towards the end of the lap. Nesterov, another driver on an improvement, currently running in 6th place on the grid. What are we going to see as he comes across the line? Stays in 6th place. So a couple of people a bit further back on the grid. Still putting in laps. Buzzov currently running in 17th. Gets himself up into 7th. Huge jump up there. Megan's in 8th now. Kaz Lucas, whereabouts on the circuit are we? A little bit further back. Just coming through the heel. Right, so that is pretty much the end of qualifying. Don't think anyone else out there is continuing to lap. That is on an improvement anyway. Oh, Luca Zige, actually. There we go. Complete lie. Luca Zige on an improvement. 25th place gets himself up to, so he'll probably be pretty happy with that one. Apart from that, though, that is everyone at the moment. Right, so qualifying is over. So sit by and wait and see what happens here. Right, here we go. On the grid. And the cars are stacking up. So while we're here, let's have a little bit of a run through all the cars. And we get a little bit of an idea of who is where and what is what. Right. Let's start at the very beginning and let's see if we can get that lovely shot. There it is. Right, so... Oh, wait, when did that happen? Okay, not entirely sure how that happened, but there we go. Ryan Cooper suddenly on pole again. He must have put one in right at the very last minute, which I did not notice. So apologies, everyone at home. I did not notice that Ryan Cooper had retaken pole position. But there we go. Ryan Cooper in pole position. Second place is Chris Vining. Kargaloo in 3rd place. Jimmy Holm in 4th. Nashgadashvili in 5th. Ten Brinker in 6th. Nesterov 7th. Buzzov 8th. Megan's 9, and rounding out the top 10 is Kondobarov in 10th place. Right, continuing on, Van Sumeren in 11th place. Zorax in 12th place, Lejekas 13th, Bjorkvist 14th, 15th is Kaz Lucas, Kubaki in 16th place, Jonathan Clifford 17th place, Mr. Jones 18th, Stamankovic in 19th place, and rounding out the top 20 is Bogus with a lovely 20th position. Jinovic, 21st place. Nathaniel Shirley, 22nd. Robert Arlabi, 23rd place. Fernandez, 24th. Lucas Zige, 25th. 26 goes the way of Arsha Azmi. That one is up for debate, though, as far as we are aware, he was not meant to take part in qualifying, but that is one for the stewards to deal with probably post-race, but not entirely sure how that's going to work. But obviously, there's no live stewarding in Tier 2, only for Tier 1. Everything is done post-race. So any penalties you see this evening would have been in-game created. But continuing on, So 27th place is Badowski. Carlosi in 28th place, and 29th is Tadic. 30th place is Matthew Bouquet. Swyszewski in 31st place. Van Meerveld, fan favourite Van Meerveld. I haven't seen much of him this season. Absolutely fantastic to have them back. 32nd place. Benjamin King, 33rd. Uvelich in 34th. Kachowski in 35th. Igor Kristanic in 36th. Davy Hill in 37th. And rounding out the grid is Wouter Billin. So there we go. That is the entirety of the grid gone through, and still about a minute left before we actually jump into anything. Going to be a long old track. It's looking like it's dry for the first 30 minutes of the race at least. But we will have to see how it all goes. I get the sudden urge to go bowling for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. So if Ryan Cooper can hold on to this for the full 90 minutes, that'll obviously see him looking very, very good. His closest championship rival, Nestorov, all the way down in 7th place. And then Kubacki is down in 16th place. So Ryan can afford to lose a few positions before he's under any real threat. But obviously he will probably want to try and hold on to as many as possible. So, getting ready now. Right, cars rolling off the line. Here we go. This is the outlap. Everyone is going to be trying to warm their tyres up. The front three already really starting to push away. Not racing quite yet, lads. You've got to hold on just a little bit longer. Lap one's going to be a bit of a strange one, I think. The main places to look out for on lap one is going to be lap one, turn one. It should be reasonably clean up through here as it's a nice wide track, but then when we get to the end of the back straight and you hit that inner loop, that is where it might get a little bit dicey. Through that sort of long chicane, it is very high speed. You can just about squeeze side by side through there, but it is only for the brave or the stupid. Label your specific driver how you wish, but we will wait and see how it all goes. And then continuing on, plenty of corners, but lots of stuff to be going on. See, oh, what has happened? Ryan Cooper has dropped right off the pace. You're going to have to be a little bit careful in case he gets... Oh, there we go. He's back on it now. You have to be a little bit careful, otherwise he might end up getting teleported. Guns it to get himself back up the front. That could have been very, very close. Other drivers stacking up now. Just seeing in the chat, Christian Azaro, is there racing like this for the Xbox One? I don't have the Series S. Yeah, well, Assetto Corsa Competizione is available for the Xbox, and you should be able to do it on Xbox One. That's where I started. I do believe, though, that Apex Online Racing don't currently do anything for the Xbox, but there are lots and lots of places online. Best bet is just jump on Google and have a bit of a rummage. I'm sure there's, I believe it's called Grid Finder. You can put in all your details, and it will sort of give you what is available there. I will say in advance now that I have quite the cough at the moment, so if I go quiet from time to time, it is merely because I've muted my mic to save you all, you know, all the struggles. Listen to me croak and go. So apologies. Do let me know in the chat if you start to notice it all starting to sound a little bit rubbish. But right, here we go. This is the beginning. One corner left to go. They're stacking up. We're going to stay on the helicam and try and watch this battle at the front. So here we go. Cargaloo versus Vining versus Jimmy Holm. See, now the timing board has changed again. Ryan Cooper down in 8th on the timing board now. So at some point, everything threw a little bit of a wobbly. And I can't explain it. My timing board is saying that Ryan Cooper should be down in 8th suddenly. So I'm not sure what happened there. But lap 1 undergoing. Oh, there's already contact at the beginning of lap 1. Turn 1. We said it might be a little bit messy. Can't see too much. Vining managed to holding on to his position. Jimmy Holm and Nashkadashvili appear to be close to each other. Oh no, sorry, I do apologise. That is not Nashkadashvili. That is Nesterov. Not sure what is going on with the old timing board at the moment. Pretty good. Car number 13 is going very slowly, but so far so good for most drivers. I think we'll all agree that's a bit of a surprise from time to time, but so far so good. Couple of drivers a little bit slow, but nothing too major. So waiting to see what's going on. Badowski has picked up a drive-through penalty. Lucas Z just picked up a drive-through penalty. So it's all kicked off pretty quickly. Apparently Kylo as well with the drive-through, so that must have been for possibly speeding before the start of the race, but a bit odd. But yeah, a little bit strange there. So sticking on the helicam for a minute. So at the moment, Ryan Cooper pole position, Chris Vining holding on to 2nd, and Cargaloo in 3rd place. The battle behind Jimmy Holm with Nashkadashvili and Brinker is a pretty close one. Everyone pretty stacked up this early in the race. You can see the stream of cars coming through. Car number 13 has got itself going. Let's have a quick jump back and see who that is. That was Badowski with the Team Monkey Racing. That car looking a little bit worse for wear. And you can see, oh, there's been an incident. There has been an incident back there. I think that was car number 555. Let's see who we can find. That's Davey Hill. We're going to go back 30 seconds. Are we far enough back to catch it? Oh, we've got cars all over the place. Now, I'm not saying it was this car's fault whatsoever. It was just the first car that I saw around this kind of area. So what happens here? Oh, gets rotated by car number 47. He was trying to go around the outside of everyone. A couple of cars already jumping into the pits. Quite surprised at that this early in the race. I mean, obviously trying to get some clean running, but yeah, slightly surprised by that. Right, jumping onto this mid-pack battle now. And here's a little move up the inside. Oh, that would be the 3 drive-throughs. Yes, you are indeed correct. Getting them done nice and early. Ooh, and contact there as well. BMW gets sent sliding. I think that was Azmi jumping into the back of Vujanovic. It's all getting a little bit choppy this far back down the grid. They're still very, very fighty. Let's put that. It is a bit arduous. Oh, and kind of 11 and number 29 getting together there. I think some of these drivers are forgetting that it's 90 minutes of racing and not 90 seconds of racing. All getting a little bit much. Right, let's have a quick jump back in with our leaders. So, right at the very front, things are staying reasonably calm. I'm saying that in bated breath. Let's jump back into this mid-battle. Badowski with that drive-through as well, still to serve. It's all getting very, very dicey here down the pit straight. There are just cars absolutely everywhere at the moment. It has just become An absolute madhouse. Car number 47 versus 45, though. This is a really, really close one. We're going to see the BMW try and go around the outside. It's going to be on the outside as they head towards the chicane, the inner loop, and it dives back to the inside under braking. Can't do anything there. But this is pretty much the race all the way back from Azimi, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, I do apologise, not from Azimi. This is the battle we're looking forward to. So we've got Van Meerveld just in front as well now. We saw him squabbling pretty hard earlier. Oh, and in the background, the Porsche goes off. And that was Bouquet. Let's see if we can spot what caused that. Was that just simply a bit of argy-bargy, or was that self-inflicted? We'll go to the heli cam to try and get a better shot here on the replay. So, about to come through chute. What happens here? Is it just a case of the car goes wide? Yeah, just goes a little bit wide on the exit. Gets themselves out on the grass, struggling to get the car back onto the tarmac. And sadly, that's probably given him a little bit of damage as well. Not what he would have wanted. Right, jumping back on board with our leaders again. So the battle for second place is certainly heating up. Ryan Cooper has already started to run away with a 1.26 second lead. But Vining under attack now from Cargaloo. And Nashkadashvili has now put in the fastest lap of the race. So that is a 1:45.375. That's the fastest lap so far. Less than 7 minutes of the race done, and it's all go, go, go. Chris Vining throwing it in, hoping it sticks. Our driver with the fastest lap of the race, Team SGSS Racing. Car number 728 of David Nashkadashvili. Or David, as it is a Dutch pronunciation. Chris Vining seems to be the driver that is under attack now. Looked really strong at the very beginning, but Cargaloo has come back strong and is all over the back of him now. One of those circuits where people are going to have to be careful they don't end up giving themselves drive-through penalties. Very easy to do here. So many laps and a lot of runoff areas. Very easy to get a bit over exuberant and put yourself off. Not what you want to do. Really good to see the chat so alive tonight as well this evening. Sorry if I'm not keeping up with as many of you as I want to. But no, absolutely amazing to see the chat so alive and kicking on a Tuesday night. Thank you ever so much. Right, battle's going on further back. We've got two GTRs and a Porsche squabbling it out up through the S's at the beginning. About to come onto the back straight. Could be interesting to see what they can do. So this is Lejekas, Bjorkvist and Kibaki trading places as they go. And it is also looking like in the background as well, Mr. Jones and Samiran trying to get involved in this battle. Might possibly be that Kibaki car is just off the pace a little bit. Bjorkvist looking very, very strong. This little squabble. Oh, Mr. Jones goes a little bit wide out onto the grass again. We saw one of the Porsches go off there just a few laps ago. And we saw how hard it was to get it back off the grass once you had all four tyres on. One of those things, you're sort of fighting to get the car off the grass, but you don't want to then suddenly spear yourself across the circuit the other way. Demiran having a little bit of a look up the inside there, but these guys are just settling into it again. Nice little squabble going down here. This is for, well, it's basically a bit of a train, but this technically is for 30th position, this little battle. David Hill looks to the inside, can't get it done. Kuchowski holds on to it. Nice little stack up of cars coming here. still pushing forward. Let's jump back up to that front battle that we're keeping an eye on. Chris Vining has now set the fastest lap of the race at 1:45.267. He looks to be just about starting to pull away slightly from Cargaloo now. He's obviously found a little bit more pace by taking a little bit longer to switch the car on and get it doing what he wanted to do. Chris Vining in the T1 SR car there, the all-white livery. Here we go. Kubacki is still having a good old squabble. Oh, huge slide there we just saw. That was Mr. Jones with an absolutely ginormous slide. Managed to hold it together, but that was very, very close. And that has opened it up for Kubacki. A little bit of breathing room has reappeared. Asmi versus Meegans. Again, this is a battle on track that may come down to nothing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, because he took part in qualifying, he may just be completely disqualified from the results at the end. But I will not be able to tell you the definite answer to that until a little bit later. Let's have a look. Oh no, it is, yes. So it is going to be a disqualification for Asmi. So although he is on circuit and he is still circulating, it all means nothing. That'll be a complete disqualification. But that is the rules. You need to keep an eye on things and make sure you're keeping an eye. He was informed, he was tagged, and then was double informed. I mean, he continued to race. So will be disqualified. This battle continuing on. We've got Davy Hill versus Kachowski, and then Buzzov and Bouquet right behind them as well. Oh, the battle in front of them is getting a little bit heated now, though. And fan favourite from a few seasons ago, Van Meerveld, car number 29. Oh, goes a little bit wide there. Misses the apex. That is going to hinder him on his exit speed, and now he's got Colosi all over the back of him. Not able to take advantage of it quite yet. If we jump on board Ulovich, I'm pretty sure it is. Oh, that one there, over the rear wing of that delicious BMW, looking back, and you can just see this 5-car train starting with the BMW and looking all the way back. And it is looking proper fighty out there, all across the grid. Jumping back, let's go a little bit further. We've still got squabbles going on. A bit further back, there we go, we just saw that pass go on. We'll go back for a replay on that one. This is Bouquet getting past Buzzov. Looks like he goes all the way around the outside at the heel, and that's a long old corner to get that to work, and he does. He sticks around the outside, just about holds onto it, then has the inside for turn 9. Gives him racing room, but it's already done, and the position is taken away. Lovely move there by Bouquet. But to be fair, good clean racing by the pair of them. That could have been proper choppy, but managed to hold it together. Chris Vining still not able to escape. Oh, and in fact, there's a big move up the inside. A dive under braking there from Cargaloo. Doesn't work, though. Somehow Chris Vining managing to brake later and then come back across and hold on to it. But this battle really starting to heat up, and as well now, while these two are squabbling, Cooper running away. But Jimmy Holm and Cargaloo are starting to stack up as well. Sorry, Naskadashvili is starting to stack up as well. And to be fair, we've now got Brinker coming onto the back of this pack as well. You've got a nice little 5-way battle coming up for second place any moment. This should be where the Mercedes has the legs and can at least get a little bit of a break. But you can see the kind of gap that Ryan Cooper has already managed to open up. Cooper doing a really fantastic job of dominating this race from the very beginning. He might be able to hold on to it the whole way through. If he can, it'll be some seriously good going by him. Looks like the Ferrari was just a little bit quicker there through the S's, and it does have a really good toe. What can it do here? Can it get up the inside? I think the legs of the Mercedes are just starting to stretch out now. There was a little look there. Cargaloo knows he needs to get on with this before he falls into the clutches of Jimmy Holm, the homing missile. Slightly different lines through there. Who's going to get the better run out of it? All fairly equal. Jumping back to this battle. This is the ongoing battle for position 7. This is the Visceral Esports car driven by Zorax. He's got Kondabarov, Bjorkvist, Led Jeckers, Samiran, Kubacki and Mr. Jones all sniffing around the back of them. To be fair, Bogus and Kaz Lucas as well, not that far off the back of all these cars. This battle at the front there, we're jumping back on. Oh, we missed it. We missed the move. Go down. Let's see if we can jump back and spot that one. So this is coming down towards the heel. Is it a big brave dive under braking? Oh, just a monstrous run there from the Ferrari. Absolutely powered out the corner. Manages to get a tiny little bit of overlap. Oh, and then it was a bit of a power slide there. That's where Chris Vining went wrong. Bit of a power slide. Luckily only lost the one position, but now he's got the homing missile to contend with. It looked like an Askadashvili got into the back of him maybe ever so slightly. It was unintentional, didn't really have anywhere else to go. But Cargaloo breaks free. And now Lamborghini going to the outside. Dips back in behind. Possibly Chris Vining just pushing that little bit too hard. Just maybe struggling with traffic a little bit here. The fighting cars behind him. It'd be very, very easy to become unsettled by the plethora of cars behind you. Oh, we just lost Nashidashvili. No, we didn't. He's back. Okay, that was strange. He disappeared from the screen for just a brief moment there. So hopefully that is just something on my end and not something in game somewhere. He's giving room on the inside. Let's car number 7 basically come through. Was that car number 97 or is that just 7? Oh, it is 97. It's just got a weird graphic on the side of it. That is Brinker that comes on through. Right, let's see if we can jump on board one of these other battles as well. Here we go. So on board with Bjorkvist in the middle of this absolute pack of cars. Got Zorak still leading at the moment. Cars dipping and weaving down towards turn 1, seeing if anyone can be unsettled. Porsche looks to the inside. Is it going to have a little overlap? I think it does. He's up to the inside. He'll have the inside here, then the outside, but then he should have the advantage on the back straight. No, it can't do it. The Nissan just outpacing the Porsche. It's not the first time we would have seen the Porsche be a little bit weak, and in fact in the background as well we've got another overtake going on. It's side by side as they come in. Oh, one round goes car number 23. Car number 23 of Bjorkvist. We're going to go back and we will go helicam for that one. So this is back through turn 2 and 3. You saw the way he was there fighting with Led Jeckers. Then what happens here? He's got a really good run on the Ferrari in front of him. He goes to the outside going in. And I think there's a little rub. And then it's just the curb. The curb just strikes. Led Jeckers somehow squeezing through. Oh! Mr. Jones was not so lucky though. That Aston Martin took an absolute pounding there. Where is Mr. Jones? He is still out there and circulating, so the car did survive, but it'd be interesting to see how much damage that car has taken. So Lejeka's in 9th after narrowly avoiding it. That car appears to be damage-free. But yeah, that was a big, big old hit, that one. Chris Vining under attack again from the homing missile. So continuing to push forward. Homing missile right in the back of Chris Vining. Is he going to be able to get the inside going into the chicane? I think he might do. Super close. I think he backed out just in time because Vining came across to shut the door. And Holm just able to get his foot out before his toes were squished there. Nashkadashvili has dropped back a little bit here, so I know we saw him have a very light tap on the front end earlier, but it didn't look like the car took that much damage. But he just seems to have lost a little bit of time. It was a 1:46.7 he did last time round. So, and he is currently down on his lap time. So it'll be interesting to see what happened there. Mr. Jones is having some squabbles after that big front end impact earlier on. He's now sandwiched between Kaz Lucas in the Lexus and Bogus in another GTR. Again, absolutely fantastic to see these cars out here performing as well as they are. This is a lot of it is due to the Apex Online Racing custom BOP, the balance of performance. Meaning you get cars like the Lexus coming back, meaning cars like the Nissan able to come in here and race in amongst some of the modern machinery. And the Bentley as well, to be fair. Great to see the Bentley back. Lovely looking livery on that car, that Staminkovic. Black, gold and green. And seeing in the chat, the Bentley never left. It always was back. I beg to differ. Oh, there we go. Mr. Jones going through. It's a bit of an overlap, but does get it done, and that shakes things up behind as well. Mr. Jones gets the job done. He's going to have to hold on to it all the way around the outside. He's got the Nissan fighting back. I don't think Bogus is going to be able to. Interesting to see how far that Aston can go now with that front end damage that it picked up. I can only imagine it's going to start affecting the tyres a lot sooner than it normally would. It's going to be doing a lot more work, those front tyres. Now GTR looks to the inside. Got the braking done. He's going to have a little bit of an overlap, but he's going to be on the outside. On the outside for the next 2 turns. Trying to hold that momentum. Still overlapping. Got another one to go. Can he hold on to it here? It's going to be tight. Went in super deep on the brakes to try and hold on to it and went way outside of track limits, but does just about hold on to it. And now the pair of them, it's a drag race down to the line, but he's also got Shirley as well on the back of them. Then we've got the Fernandez BMW. It's all a little bit Pete Tong in the back, but it goes through. Oh, and there's a rotation. That was Shirley, pretty sure. Who was that went round? Car number 223, Fernandez, has rotated. Let's jump back. We'll jump on the helicam for this one. So this was coming towards the end of the lap. As we come down the pit straight now, you can see he's got a slight overlap on car number 2 of Staminkovic. Now what happens here on the exit? Puts it in. Oh, just the smallest contact with Staminkovic. But it's a high throttle, high load part of the circuit. And yeah, sadly, Round he went, and he's teleported back to the pits. Daniel Fernandez, that's a bit of a kicker for him, I imagine. Jumping back into this battle, and Jonathan Clifford going through now on Stamenkovic. Possibly Kovic feeling a little bit rattled from that incident. Triple 9 car. With Jonathan Clifford trying to push through, not able to get past. We go a bit further back down the field again. We've got Bouquet, who's been making his way through the field. Bouquet in front of Meerveld, followed by Buzov. Trying to work out which GTR that is in the background there. Was that a BMW? It's a BMW. It's Benjamin King's BMW. I'm just absolutely blind. So the squabble settling out. But there we go. You can see the leader of our pitted drivers is Nestorov, obviously, but he did pit incredibly early on in the race. Mr. Jones squabbling again now. Stamenkovic looks to the inside, gets it done. I think this is where we're going to see problems for Mr. Jones. I can only see him dropping back more and more as the race continues. Those front tyres are going to be absolutely tortured. Going to be really struggling for that front end grip with that front end damage that he picked up. Oh, here we go. Battle going on here. Oh! And there was a rotation. And that, I think, was Ledjekers. Ledjekers is round. Let's see if we can jump back and catch that. So pretty sure this is coming through chute. So they come down towards turn 7. There's a little bit of a rub of cars in front. And another little bump. And more bumps. Oh, and Ledjekers got pushed and spun there. And that was not what you would have wanted at all. Ledjekers took a big hit there. He managed to avoid the initial incident that went on in front of him and then was collected from behind. I imagine that'll be one for a steward's inquiry later, as he was completely innocent in that one. Not a lot he could really do. But let's jump back up towards the front a little bit. We've still got Jimmy Holm chasing down the back of Chris Vining. And our next closest battle is this one here. And obviously this was the battle earlier on that had Ledjekers in it. So this is Kondabarov and Samiran. Big old slide there from Samiran. Where has that left Ledjekers? Now running in 13th place. Oh, Samiran goes off in the background. Pushing very, very hard, it would seem. Let's jump back with this one. Nathaniel Shirley versus Stamenkovic. Lexus versus Bentley. It's been a long time since you've seen this battle on track, but here it is. Oh, and the GTR in front of them going super deep there. I think that was bogus, wasn't it? Now, was that just a braking incident, or what did we have? Let's have a look. He's got Ledjekers right up his chuff. Ledjekers obviously trying to recover back up towards 17th place, so he is out of order. He should be able to push forward. Let's see what happens here under braking. Oh, does have contact there with Ledjekers. Just don't think he was expecting to have to slow down as much as he was. He was definitely on the charge. A little bit of a nudge there at the back. Definitely slowed down Bogus. Totally lost his momentum there. Let's jump on board with this one. So Robert Arlavi having a nice little squabble. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. We do have a yellow flag, and that was for one of the Lexus. I think that was Nathaniel Shirley. Yes, it was. Let's jump back and see what happened there. So still squabbling it out with Stamankovic. Mr. Jones jumping into the pits just at the side of the shop there, as we can see. Apologies about the cough. Oh, and Stamankovic hunts him round. Not so good. I think that's the second time we've seen Stamankovic get together with someone at turn 1. Very difficult place to try and rejoin there as well for Nathaniel Shirley. He was on the outside of the circuit, which is the fast flying part of the circuit. So trying to get out of the way. Nice little squabble going on in front though. Bojanovic versus Carlosi. Oh. Nathaniel Shirley nearly getting into the back then of Carlosi. That was very, very close. I think there's a little bit of red mist possibly descending into a few of these drivers. That's a good run though. The Lexus round the outside. Nathaniel Shirley's going to try and keep the overlap. Can't do it. And he might now be under attack himself from Ulic. Seeing different cars looking super strong on different parts of the circuit. Jumping on board with Bouquet as he comes around to the end of the lap. He's got Meerveld on the back of him, nipping at his heels. They're trying to run the outside, possibly in turn 1. No, but he should have a decent run on the exit. Continuing to push forward. Meerveld's got a decent run there through turn 2. It might have been slightly hampered. And it's looking like King's had a really good run as well. Going to be close. Oh, there we go. And Bouquet, I think, actually realised he wasn't going to be able to make it through side by side. Oh, and we've got a BMW round in front. I think that was Ulic. Pretty sure that was Ulic. Yes, it was. I think as soon as we cut away as well, there was another incident going on. So what is going on up in front here? I think this is going to be a curb bounce kind of issue that we're seeing here. Oh, no, there was a Ferrari round. And then the BMW. Oh my goodness. And then there was a big hit. That was not what you wanted to see at all. I mean, I can only imagine how much damage that car took. I'm not even sure really entirely the simulation was ready for that kind of hit. They all kind of almost became one at that moment. So a couple of cars there taking on some pretty big damage. Number 45 is looking way, way off the pace now. Megan's into the pit as well. We just see them there. Jumping back on board with this battle for second place. Ryan Cooper has absolutely checked out and gone. 3.2 seconds up the road compared to Cargaloo. And Cargaloo as well with a big old gap. But this battle for third place has been continuously squabbling on. So Vining, Holman, Brinker still going. Nashkadashvili has just dropped back off this lead pack a little bit. Still running in 6th place. He does appear to have dropped back just that small amount. Let's jump on board with Samaran, who we saw earlier on. This is Kondabarov and Kabaki as well. So this little one going on here, Robert Arlavi, Azmi and Kristinic squabbling it out. Ooh, that was a bit of a brave move there by Azmi under braking. A few drivers in the pit at the moment. There we go. Ryan Cooper has set the fastest lap of the race. He's finally is the first driver into the 44s. So with a 1:44.9. Oh, and here we go. Kubaki going to try and go around the outside. Can he do it in braking? They're going to be side by side as they enter the chicane. Still holding on to it, but he's going to be on the outside here now. As they go around the outer loop, it's going to have to be super brave stuff. I don't think he's going to be able to hold on to it quite, but he might have a better run than heading down towards Chute. Not quite good enough. So for now, the battle continues. Kondobarov just about holding on to that position. We'll jump back here. So this is Bogus, followed by Jonathan Clifford, Stamankovic and Bjorkvist. Stamankovic car again, also being chased down here by Bjorkvist. And we haven't seen much of today. And this is Nestorov fighting the back of the 808 car of Schweicheski. Nestorov has pitted. And up the inside he goes. Schweicheski letting him on through. So Nestorov, currently running in 27th place, is our leading pitted driver. He is going to be the kind of driver to keep an eye on towards the end of the race. He's pitted pretty early. Still got an hour of racing left to go. Well, just under 54, well, bang on 54 minutes left of racing. So still got a little way to go, but Nestorov is going to be one of those drivers that we should see continue to climb up through the order. Lap times have been pretty good. Low 145s. Oh, and there we go. We can jump back on board with that one. What happened there? That was Jonathan Clifford having a bit of a scrap. This is Jonathan Clifford. He is, on this image, he is having a back with that's Stamankovic in that number 2 Bentley. What happens here? He's just behind, but hanging on pretty good. Oh, and there was contact there. Stamankovic managed to hold it together. I think that was kind of just a bit of a racing incident, but not my place to say. But from where I was in the commentary booth, that didn't look too sort of intentional. Chris Vining, still running in 3rd place, has managed to open up a little bit of a gap now. It's not very big, but he is finally starting to maybe get away a little bit from Jimmy Holm. 35 minutes of the race has been done. There's still another 52 and a bit to go. Jump on board with Meerveld, who is having a nice battle with Benjamin King. Throwing it in. And Benjamin King still just holding on to the back of him for the moment. Continuing to go forwards. What can Benjamin King do? Can he make it through on Meerveld? Not sure what car that was coming close into the camera, but God, it was incredibly loud, whichever one that was. Ah, I know what it was. It was the 199 of Luca Zige. That noisy boy. It's a pair of noisy boys, it turns out. They do sound absolutely fantastic, don't they? In fact, I think we all deserve a little bit of dashboard. With Luca Zige, 25th place at the moment. Heading round the outer loop. You can see in the background as well the other Porsche. This is not a race for position between those two. Oh, it just sounds absolutely fantastic, this Porsche. Oh, Megan's has just set the fastest lap. Incident possibly up in front. A lot of dirt being thrown out. Stick on the dashboard for just a little bit longer. should have probably warned any headphone users that they were about to get their absolute bones shaken out of them. The Porsches just sound so good in this game, don't they? Just absolutely fantastic to hear. So Megan's, Oren Megan's has set a 1:44.8, setting a really, really good lap time there. 1:44.8. Currently running in 29th position, so second place of our pitted drivers. Let's have a quick check-in with the battle at the top. Vining has moved away. Jimmy Holm is having a nice little battle here with Ten Brinker. And it looks like Ten Brinker jumping into the pits now. So that little battle has finally released Holm. He might be able to do something with that. So Ten Brinker is going to be one of those cars to keep a little bit of an eye on as to how things go on into the future. Naskadashvili, who was right there at the very front at the beginning, is dropped back a little bit. Currently running in 5th place after the pitting of Ten Brinker. But yeah, I think that little bit of a front end bump might have done a bit more to the front than we realised. As ever since then, he's just dropped back off the pace a little bit and hasn't been lapping as fast as others around him. Squabble going on here. This is Kristinich versus Azmi. Oh, and there's side to side. Big strike between them. And again, this is... I mean, Azmi, as far as we're aware, is going to be disqualified from the results of this race. So, anyone getting involved with him on track is kind of a bit odd. Not sure how that will be dealt with. Can only presume that... well, we'll have to wait and see what the stewards do post-race. But battles on track still. Meerveld. Oh, so this is Meerveld versus which Ferrari is that? I'm sure they're on the same lap. I think that is possibly... oh, there's blue flags in order, so that is why the timing board was lying to my face about who was who. Meerveld not having a close battle at all with anyone at the time. So that's all that was. That's Meerveld and Colosi. So Colosi is technically down a lap because he's already done the pit. Right, Lejeka's in the pit, Holm in the pit, Robert Arlavi in the pit as well. Skadashvili into the pits as well. We'll see how that car performs once it's back out. Battles-wise, everything seems to have settled down a little bit. Let's have a quick jump on board with our leader, who we haven't really seen any of this race, to be fair. To be fair, he is down to 1.2 seconds. The Cargaloo, towards the latter half of this stint, has really been bringing it back. So interested to see where this time is being lost. What was his lap time there? That was a 1:45 last time round. And Cargaloo putting in a 1:44. So that is an absolutely massive difference in pace there. That is humongous difference in pace. And if this continues, it won't be long until Cargaloo gets right up on the back of him. Let's jump on with Cargaloo as well. That West Competition racing car. Well, we've got cars coming in and out of the pits. Bogus into the pits as well now. So Jimmy Holm is now our leading pitted driver. It kind of depends on what kind of lap times people are doing after the pit. These two could be squabbling it out, but just the way that Ryan Cooper is losing pace, surely those tyres have just got to be coming to the end of his life. I think, not sure what the old pit strategy was going to be for him. I can presume it's only a bit of a 50-50. We've just about passed the halfway point in the race. Most drivers are still here. Somehow my voice is still here as well. Cargaloo pushing forward. Really starting to catch up with the back of Cooper. Looking super racy at this part of the circuit. Let's see what their lap times were again as they come through. So, as they come through, Ryan Cooper with a 145.09 and Cargaloo with a 144.94. So he is still currently outlapping Cooper. That's going to be one to keep a little bit of an eye on. Samiran into the pits. Jonathan Clifford having a nice little squabble a bit further down. Oh, Jonathan Clifford coming into the pits as well. As soon as the battle starts to commence, the battle disappears. This is Azmi versus Kristinich. So Kaz Lucas, Zorax, Jonathan Clifford, Samiran all in the pits. Oh! And I think that's two drivers, Kristinich and Vujanovic, that didn't enter the pit correctly there. And they were just very unlucky to be caught on stream doing it as well. It is one of those things that will be looked back through. So more and more drivers coming into the pits now. Drivers getting ready to exit the pits as well. But look at the way this gap for pole has come down. Absolutely flying out of nowhere. Cargaloo really has found some absolutely fantastic pace. Ryan Cooper, 0.5 down on his lap. He is hemorrhaging time to Cargaloo. You would have thought he would have dived into the pits by now. He literally was half a second down on Cargaloo that lap. Half a second he lost. Obviously he can defend and make his car as wide as physically possible, and the Bentley's already a pretty big boy. I very much doubt he can make it that big. Vining into the pits, Kabaki into the pits, Kondoborov into the pits. I'm going to keep an eye on this battle because as it continues, I wonder if that last lap, that time was lost to Cooper changing settings on his pit entrance. That's Shirley in, Azmi into the pits as well, and now Cooper really, really under attack. Cargaloo at his heels like a dog at the postman. It's going to be interesting to see what Holm and Vining, how they look once they've come out the pits. Brinker just set the fastest lap of the race. This second half, now the track is on optimum, plus a fresh set of tyres. Seems to be really bringing some cars into life. Staying out though, Cooper deciding to keep going. Now, I said earlier on there was no mandatory stop. There is a mandatory stop, but you don't have to mandatory change tyres and you don't have to refuel, but you can do. So, for a little brief moment in my mind, I was thinking, I wonder if Cooper was going to try and go the whole thing with no pit, but I would be very surprised if the car could make it that far. These two continuing to push on. Holm is our leaded pitted driver. You know, as soon as I cut away from this battle, something is going to happen. Holm being chased down by Brinker. We're going to jump back up that lead battle again, because this really is the one to keep an eye on. It does seem that Cargaloo has just sort of come up against a bit of a wall though, and can't... He's got the pace, but not quite enough to get past. They never saw anything happen to the Ryan Cooper car. We never saw a yellow flag out for any reason, so I think it's just tyre degradation. Is anyone going to come in? Yes, Ryan Cooper finally coming into the pits. This is Cargaloo's chance. He's got no one in front of him. If he can put in a couple of thunderous laps, maybe make up the lap times. What do we have there? Cargaloo was a 1:45 last lap. So for the first time since the beginning of the race, someone else is leading the race. Cargaloo, the West Competition Racing, is finally in pole position. Beerveld having a nice little battle with Lucas Ziege. The real thing is going to be is how long does Cargaloo stay out, and then when he does pit, where does he come out? Tadic as well having a nice little battle. So Tadic has not pitted yet, and he's got Jimmy Holm, our leading pitted driver, and then Brinker running in second place of the pitted drivers and the fastest car out there at the moment. But this is technically for position, so there'll be no blue flags in order. So Tadic has not pitted. Oh, and there was a mistake there from Holm, and they both go round. Huge hits. Oh, goodness gracious, what happened there? So we're going to go on the helicam for this one. I think it was just a loss of traction through the final turn, and Holm losing it. And sadly, I think it was just a case that Brinker just got caught up in the madness. So here we go. He looks to the outside, swings the car in. It just unsettles on the camber, and it just goes. Round it goes. And then a huge hit there as well. And Brinker, after putting in the fastest lap of the race, has taken on a huge hit. So not at all what they would have wanted. So Cargaloo still out there lapping. He's done a 1:44.8 last time round. When is Cargaloo going to come in? Let's have a little jump on Bob Bjorkvist just coming into the pits. So Ryan Cooper, what sort of lap times are we now setting? That might have been his out lap. Yeah, that was his out lap. So let's see what Cooper is doing lap times wise. Obviously, we should expect him to keep improving as the tyres come into the good temperature range. He's only had the out lap so far. You can see the debris building up off the racing line. Borov now set the fastest lap of the race. Oh, Ryan Cooper, I think, is on an absolute flyer. Cargaloo, I've seen his 0.4 down on his very best lap. He's just done a 1:45. He's staying out a bit longer. I think his plan, though, to possibly put in some faster laps than old Cooper might not be working, because Cooper's really, really flying. He's 0.8 up on his lap time. 0.9. A whole second up on his lap time. We might be about to see our first car dip in to the 1:43s. This is an absolutely titanic, basically, first flying lap after the pits. What on earth is this car running on? He has come out absolutely flying. And he's going to come across the line. And what are we going to see lap times wise? Oh, it's a 1:44.5. So still not the fastest lap that we've seen, but that was monstrously quick. He's really, really pushing. Cargaloo is down on his lap times. Surely Cargaloo, as he comes towards the end of this lap, is going to be thinking about jumping into the pits. Mirveld in the pits now. Cargaloo's got to do it. Oh, car number 808 with the yellow flag. So we can fight 808. That is Schweicheski. What happened there? We'll go back. Oh, and I believe he just left the server as we went to go back to him, as I can no longer get it. Cargaloo into the pits. Right, this is going to be the big one to keep an eye on now. Ryan Cooper, once we finally get once we come out of the replay, we'll be back on live timing. Come on, live timing. Come back to it. We need you. There it is. Right, Cargaloo in the pits as we speak. He's stopped. I don't think he's going to be... I don't think he's managed to jump him. I don't think he's managed to jump Cooper. Number 52. Cargaloo is still stationary at the moment, but there's a little bit of traffic in front of him. And if anything, I think Cargaloo has lost ground. Cargaloo still, he's down on the floor, but he's not moving. So presumably this is fuel. Does get going. Oh, and I think he lost an absolute boatload of time there in comparison. Yeah, the gap has opened right back up again. So the pit strategy that time round just did not go to plan whatsoever. And Cargaloo will probably be kicking himself about that one. Not sure what happened there in the pits. I can only presume it was waiting for fuel to go in. So just a few cars that haven't yet completed their pit stops. On the Borov, the fastest lap of the race. That was a 1:44.465. It does make me laugh a lot in the chat, the Ryan Cooper fans. You have a lot of love for that gentleman, and fair play. Just for you. There he is, in all his splendour. Let's see what he's slightly slower this time round. I think he just had to deal with a little bit of traffic. There we go. There's another big Ryan Cooper fan coming in as well from Twisty. And here we go, and Thomas as well. Cooper is GOAT. Let's see if there's any nice little close battles going on circuit. This little one here is slowly heating up. So this is Clifford Lejekas and Bjorkvist. At the moment, it is opening up a little bit. Just over half an hour of the race left to go. We're still sort of getting over that pit scenario. Here we go. Here's a nice little battle, though. It's going to be going to be very, very close. Samirin versus Kondoborov. And again, the GTR had the legs down the straight, but wasn't able to hold on to it through the chicane. That inner loop, nearly claiming another victim. Wait, that? Oh, so the position changed at some point, but the timing board did not decide to change, which is a bit of a shame. But for now, Kubacki is chasing after the back of Samirin. And see what he can do. This little battle heating up as well. Got Kondoborov coming up towards the back. You can almost hear the tyres on that GTR putting in absolutely all the work. There you go, Samirin knows how good that Kubacki, how quick that car is in a straight line. That 966 GT Sport Motul Team RJN. Bring back racing stripes, I say. Bring them back. Here we go. This is where he's going to get another decent run up the back straight. Oh, God, you could not go any further to the inside there. Samirin literally on the grass, trying to hold on to the inside line. He knows that that GTR can have him in a straight line. But then we get here into this back half of the circuit, and now that's where the Ferrari can open its taps and try and get away just that little bit. Oh, Chris Vining has been a big loser in the pit stops. All the way down now in 9th place. Nashkadashvili sort of held on to his position pretty well. He's going to inherit 4th when Ziege comes into the pits. Lorax had a decent climb up there, up to 11th place. But Vining, not sure what happened there in the pits, but has dropped right off. Putting in fast laps and trying to come back through now. Be a bit of one to keep an eye on. In fact, let's jump on board quickly with Chris Vining. He's running currently behind a BMW, but I don't think that's a battle for position. It is not. It's just Kondoborov is the next car in front of him. Jumping back on board with it. Little bit more of a gap this time round. Kubacki's got a bit more ground to try and make up. So I don't think it's going to be this lap that we see a move, unless he can get an absolutely monstrous run through turns 1, 2 and 3. Oh, and the Ferrari behind him goes well out wide. Kondoborov obviously trying to get a bit of an advantage and stay on the tail of the Nissan GTR, and just was not able to. And here it comes again. Kubacki on an absolute flyer, jumps into the toe, tries to get going. He's going to close right up. Again, not quite close enough to make a move. He's got no one behind him now, though. He's got a little bit more free air. Please have a quick jump on board with car number 224, running in 20th place. With possibly the darkest front end and the brightest back end on that livery. We're going to jump back onto this one. Let's jump on that rear wing of the Ferrari and have a little bit of a look. You can see where the pace differences come in. GTR really strong on the brakes there, and you can see in a straight line it will be able to close back up pretty convincingly. So here, down the pit straight, you see the GTR towards the second half starts reeling in the Ferrari. Just look fairly planted there. This could be another decent run. Who is going to be faster through these corners? It's already the GTR reeling him in. This could be the one. This is getting super, super close. Big close up under the throttle. He's going to go to the outside. He's going to have to try and go the long way round, but if you can get enough of an overlap, he might be able to do something, and they're going to be side by side as they go in. There's a little rub. But I think all's fair in love and... Oh, that was a bit of a brave move by Sareran to go through there. That was go on the helicam, and we'll watch that whole battle back. So you get an idea of the speed difference that GTR had here. Absolutely flying up behind him. Has to go to the outside. But on the brakes, he does give space. He gets a little bit of a bump. Samiran has a big old kick through the dirt there. Manages to hold it together, and hopefully that car hasn't taken on too much damage. So an easily gained position there from Kondoborov. Now the GTR is released. What can it do? Ryan Cooper again leading the race. You can, and well out of shot, just right in the back of the shot is Cargley with the 144.2. Cargley has just set the fastest lap of the race. 23 minutes left of the race to go. And although he is currently outlapping Ryan Cooper, I'm not sure it's going to be enough, or whether it's going to be a bit too late. It is all very well catching up with the car in front, but as we saw for so long with Kondoborov, you can be right on the back of someone, but getting past can be quite the battle. So going to be interested to see how this continues. So Stamenkovic got past Ledjekers. Let's see if we can jump back and see what happened there. This is down the pit straight. Ledjekers on the inside going defensive. But that Bentley just has such a whopping top speed. It manages to get through. Takes the position away in turn one. Sends Ledjecki a little bit wide. So Stamenkovic, nice little move, makes his way through. Cargaloo catching up with our car in 26th position. I would imagine it's going to move out of the way and let him through. Yes, it goes off the racing line, a little bit of a lift. Lets him on through, dives back in behind. So Cargaloo still very much on a push. The gap is doable. 20 minutes. It's a fair old gap. It's just under 4 seconds. It could be done. Possibly. It's going to have to be some whopping lap times. Again, he was half a second faster than Cooper last lap. Lucas Zige still out there, hasn't completed his pit stop, running in 4th place. He's got Nashkadashvili, who has completed his pit stop, coming up behind him. Obviously in the first sort of third of this race, we saw Nashkadashvili on an absolute flyer and was going absolute great guns. Nashkadashvili was a second faster than him last lap, and his best lap is a second quicker than Zige. Zige appears to be going all the way to the end. He's done he's done an hour and 10 minutes on that fuel and tyres. how that car's got anything left, I am absolutely amazed. It must be running on absolute fumes, and I imagine the tyres are pretty well shot by this point. Ashkadashvili has backed off a little bit here, I think. Right, battle that isn't cooling off though. Kondoborov versus Kubacki. Again, this is where the Ferrari catches up with it all the way through the back section, and then we get into this sector 1. And that is really where the GTR comes to life and starts finding some absolutely fantastic pace. A little bit of a jump back. Stamankovic goes to the inside in turn 1. Can't get it done against Nathaniel Shirley. Shirley holding his ground. But that was super, super close. We've seen Stamankovic take advantage of the top end speed a fair few times this race. We have seen a couple of bumps in turn 1 from that driver as well, though. So, high risk, high reward. Me having a nice little battle here with Walter Billen. Again, this is a battle though that, as far as we know, isn't going to matter. Asmi is disqualified from the race as far as we are aware, so he will not appear in the championship standings at the end. Let's have a little look here and see if we can get that Cargaloo and Cooper. How much closer? Oh, definitely closing in big time now. 2.5 seconds between them, so that is a second and a half that Cargaloo has found already. He was 0.7 of a lap, sorry, 0.7 of a second faster last time round. So Ryan Cooper's race might not be in the bag. There is a possibility that he might end up losing this in the latter stage of the race. 18 minutes left to go. Ziege finally comes into the pits. Jimmy Holm still sitting quite comfortably in 3rd place though. Then obviously got Nashkadashvili currently running in 4th, but being chased down by Kubacki, who is on an absolute flyer. So this might be something to keep an eye on coming up. Nashkadashvili might end up losing a position to Kubacki, which will see a GTR up into the top 4, which would be pretty impressive. The fact it's in the top 5 is absolutely astounding and just goes to show how good this new BOP is. Even including the older cars, balancing them. Oh, what happened then? Why have we suddenly gone to Bjorkvist? We'll go back there. There we go. Kubacki, we're still with them. For whatever reason. ACC decided that we were looking at the wrong GTR, but we definitely weren't. That's the one we wanted to keep an eye on. Nashkadashvili really struggling at the moment. Not able to get away from Kubacki, and we're now getting into the part of the track where the GTR is the strongest. The GTR do? Can it do anything here? We saw it have some amazing runs, all super, super deep. Got to be careful with those track limits. What can it do here? Is it going to have the legs on the McLaren? Is closing, but not enough, so it's not going to be this time round, I don't think. So for whatever reason, Nashkadashvili has lost a bit of pace, and Kubacki has found some absolutely astounding pace, but here is Van Samieren as well. He's right on the tail And to be fair, I'm surprised to see the way that the McLaren just not looking as strong through this second half of the lap. Used to be such an absolute powerhouse of a car. It was the go-to car. But now it's dropped off a little bit. There we go. Ryan Cooper bringing the pace back up again a little bit. A 1:44.5 last time. Oh! Kibaki tried to go around the outside. It didn't work that time. And I think he might actually be about to lose. Oh, there's a big shunt with car number 31. I imagine Kibaki will be pretty annoyed about that one. Let's see if we can go back and see what went on there. So, as he comes through the boot down towards the heel, what does he do? Brakes, tries to go up the inside, ends up losing traction and goes a bit deep. Gets a little bit of a rub there from Nashkadashvili, and then has a decent old thump against car number 31. Then immediately has to go defensive of car number 22. We saw him get past earlier on. A little bit of rubbing his racing there, I think, going on. Might be one between Kibaki and Kontoborov. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw that appearing in the stewards' inquiries at some point. Right, Jimmy Holm. Apparently lapping pretty free and easy in third place. Cargaloo, who was on an absolute charge, trying to catch up with the back of Ryan Cooper, who is still pushing quite hard at the moment, but isn't able to catch him. Ryan Cooper has answered, has come back with a response, and is now lapping ever so slightly faster. So he's trying to get away a little bit now. It's just kind of, they're both fairly equal on pace, but you can see that the gap has definitely come down. Cargaloo, I still think, is in with a chance of bringing this one home. He might be able to just about do it. Nashkadashvili running in fourth now. Kontoborov behind him. Kubaki, Samiran. Those four cars are all well within a shout of picking up fourth position. Just in the back of the shot as well, Chris Vining, who'll be absolutely kicking himself about, I'm not sure what went on with the pit stops, but yeah, lost so much time there in the pits. Nathaniel Shirley having a nice little squabble again. Shirley versus Staminkovic. And we've seen Staminkovic have some fantastic pace at different points in the race. Here comes Kontoborov on the back of Nashkadashvili. Sorry, I don't entirely know why I pronounced it quite so aggressively then. Had a bit of a moment. Ooh, looking to the outside. Kontoborov, a little bit of an overlap. If he can hold on to this position, he'll have the inside. Oh, car number 4's got a yellow flag. We're going to keep an eye on this battle for now, though. And car number 4 was Kristinic. And that was coming out of the chicane. I'm going to presume that was probably a bit of a bumpy curb moment. Nashkadashvili pushing really hard. On an absolute charge again. I mean, he has just closed up on the back of that car. We're going to jump onto them in just a moment. Van Samiran going well off the circuit there. Right, let's jump on board with this one. Oh, car number 199 as well. So 10 minutes left to go. The gap is less than a second between these two now. Ryan Cooper is seriously under threat from Cargaloo. That West Competition racing car is looking very, very strong. Mouse and keyboard driver as well, this Cargaloo, which is absolutely bonkers how anyone can get any car to go around this circuit on a mouse and keyboard, even slowly. I don't understand. Ryan Cooper lost big, big time. And in the chat, we've got Jazz, Nashkadash, Vili. This would be an absolute amazing finish for them. Up into 4th place still. Got Kontaborov sniffing around the back of them, but still going. But I think the main one to keep an eye on right now is this battle for pole position. Cargaloo versus Cooper. Bentley versus Ferrari. New versus old. Is this where we're going to see the move? Is this possibly the position to take it away? What can be done here? Jump on the splitter quickly, looking forward. Again, sorry headphone users, it's a bit loud. Oh, bit of a mistake there from Cargaloo. So a lot of hard work started to come undone, maybe showing just how hard he is pushing to try and get on the back of Ryan Cooper. There was a definite mistake as they went through the chicane there. The car got super unsettled. Oh god, apparently I'm being sound clipped. You could have at least waited for a day when I haven't got a cold and sound like a bag of old gravel. Well, even after that mistake, Cargaloo was closed right up on the back of Cooper. Absolutely flying up behind him. I'm 8.5 minutes of the race to go and a little bit of change. I am not entirely sure Cooper is going to be hanging on to this. I can already feel the Cooper fans coming in on me though. I can already feel their eyes looking at me. I am by no means wishing it away for Cooper. He's been an absolutely fantastic force to reckon with so far this season. But now, Cargaloo right on the back of him as they're coming down the pit straight. Can he do anything here in the braking zone? He does look to the inside. Maybe just hoping to unsettle Cooper, but I don't think that's going to happen. It is just going to be a case of, can Cooper make this car wide enough for 8 minutes? I just cannot see him somehow holding on to this. The Ferrari again looking very, very strong here. I can only imagine how these two drivers feel. I've got the adrenaline in my arms and I'm only watching it and controlling cameras. These two drivers putting absolutely everything into it. Much, much better there for Cargaloo this time round, pushing hard into it. Cooper, big dab of the brakes mid-corner to keep that car settled, holding onto that inside line, doesn't want to wash out too deep. You can see the way that Cargaloo's car is just coming alive though, and is all over the back of him for a race that we thought was probably pretty much all done and settled. It has suddenly come to life. 7 minutes and change left to go. Kontaborov battle as well, really kicking off. I want to go back and watch that one at the same time as this one, but I think this is the one to keep an eye on. Cargaloo has been the underdog this race. He has pushed and pushed. Bit of a different line there from Cargaloo. Is he going to try and get a different run? He's throwing attacks at Cooper all over the place. He isn't just consistently attacking in the same way. He's trying different things. A little bit of a dab of the brakes again there from Cooper. Are we going to see a move here? Possibly. We were in this same position last time round. It was all so close. And it is amazing just the difference in cars. You've got that Bentley with a little Ferrari that almost disappears behind it. We're going to have a quick jump back to this one as well. Nashkadashvili is becoming quite the cork in the bottle, but he is currently holding on to 4th place. He's got 6 minutes and a bit to go. Back on board again with our leaders now, though. Cooper versus Cargaloo. Cargaloo looking to the outside. Can he out-drag the Bentley? Amazingly, yes, he can around the outside, but he's surely not going to be able to do it. Not quite. Car number 7 as well with the yellow flag down at turn 1. The overlaps have started now. Cargaloo showing that he can get his nose past that Bentley. All he's got to do is get it in the right place and see if he can outbrake the Bentley as well. Gain a position. Again, here we go on this back half. Here it goes. You can see Cargaloo sweeping the car left and right, trying to see if there's anywhere it can go. It's been 85 minutes of racing and it's all coming down to this. Milliseconds between these drivers. Different lines again. Cargaloo trying to get a slightly better run. What can he do? He looks to the inside on the penultimate corner. Not quite. Dips back to the outside. They're super close. If anything, Cargaloo is going to be his own undoing. He's pushing so hard to get past Cooper, and Cooper just sticking with what he knows. Oh, there's a mistake from Cooper, though. Cooper goes wide. Cooper clips the wall on the final turn. Big strike of the wall, and through goes Cargaloo. Cargaloo, with just under 5 minutes left of the race, manages to jump through. A very, very unusual mistake there from Cooper, and through goes Cargaloo, and now it is a case of can Cargaloo continue to push forward as hard as he is. Cooper right on the back of him though. Oh, a little bit of a dab of the brakes on the exit. He had nowhere to go. I cannot believe that Bentley is managing to hang on to the back of it this time. Going to be super, super close. Cargaloo knows he just needs to try and get away. Oh, there's just nothing between these drivers. This is still definitely the battle to keep an eye on. It does not been settled yet. 4 minutes left to go. And still, Cargaloo versus Cooper. There was a little brief... There was a... Oh, I say a brief moment of time. There was a fairly decent amount of time where we thought this race was all done and settled. But not at all. Cargaloo has brought the fight back and is now starting to pull away just that little bit. Just while it's quickly going on, let's have a quick jump back. Nashkadashvili still holding on to 4th place. Kondaborov and Kubacki behind him. Being chased down super, super hard. Kondaborov looks to the inside, can't get it done. Absolutely stunning bit of driving going on here as well. We've got Bogus fighting further back as well. Bogus. Which car is that? That's Zorax in front of him, who has just made up the position according to the timing board, and then Jonathan Clifford as well behind. Let's have a quick double check in with our leaders. Cargaloo, 3 minutes left of the race left to go, and is opening up a little bit of a gap. He just needs to keep it clean. He cannot afford any mistakes. Cooper will be putting absolutely everything into this. If he's got any track limits abuse that he can do, he will be doing it, trying to find that little bit of extra time. Aboard Nashkadashvili versus Kondaborov versus Kubacki, and Samiran in the background as well, hoping that these three catch each other out, maybe trip each other over, and there'll be some deliciously easily gained places. 2.5 minutes left to go, and there's a big move up the inside now. Nashkadashvili still holds on to it though. Both these drivers so deep into turn 1 on that overrun area. They've got to be picking up track limits abuse for this. The last thing they want to do is pick up a drive-through this late in the race. They don't want to give up the positions, but the last thing you want to do is, rather than lose one, is lose a whole bunch because of track limits abuse. Dorax and Bogus, nothing between these drivers. And also, here comes... Oh, well, there we go. Stamenkovic has already made his way past Clifford. So not sure what happened with Clifford there. He's lost 2 positions. Oh, and a big rub in front. Stamenkovic trying to take advantage. Gonna have to go really around the long side. There's that big bump coming up. Stamenkovic unsettled. The car goes wide. They're all over the place. It is super choppy back here, battling out for the final position inside the top 10. And at the moment, Bogus is still off the track. So Bogus obviously picked up a... Oh, I'm not sure we're going to be able to see this incident. Yes, we are. Oh, so he... Oh! Not what he would have wanted. He was getting on the brakes. I think he was trying to avoid the incident, and the barriers bit him a bit harder. I think he maybe thought they were soft like they are at at Monza, but no, this is America. Everything is done pretty solid and big. So Cargaloo has finally broken away. I think this is going to be the final lap of the race. Yeah, 35 seconds left, and the timer will get to 0. We're going to stick on board with this for just a minute, because this battle has been absolutely intense the whole way. In fact, an even closer battle still is Nashkadashvili versus Kubaki. There might have been a slight little touch then. Nashkadashvili really, really pushing hard, but that GTR is going to have the legs on him. It goes to the outside. It can't get anything done. You've also got Samirin and Kondaborov in the background. They're side by side. Samirin finally got the position. This is where we've seen GTR be a little bit weaker. We're jumping back on board, though. Here we go. Only a few corners left to go. Desperately trying to hold on to my voice as well. 2 corners left to go. Cargaloo rounds the penultimate turn, sets himself up, throwing it in. And there we go. Cargaloo comes across the line. We're going to jump back. Nashkadashvili and Kubaki still fighting out. This is the one to keep an eye on. This rubbing going on, though. Apologies about that one. I couldn't get to my mute in time. Nashkadashvili still holding on. Oh my goodness, there is all sorts of drama going on there in the background. I've never seen cars clipped together quite like they have today. Nashkadashvili ends up being able to pull away from it and comes home in 4th place. There was some properly odd things going on there. Kondaborov coming home just in front of Samirin. Oh, this is one to keep an eye on. Kazlukas versus Vining. Kazlukas just holds on to it. Stamenkovic got himself up into 10th place, confirming his space inside the top 10. Nicely done. Battles further back. Robert Arlabi still battling it out. This is for 18th place. He's got Tadic right on the back of him. Again, 2 corners left to go for these drivers. Pushing incredibly hard, just trying to keep it all together. A few cars coming through. Where's Lucas Ziege? There we go, kind of a 199, still pushing hard. Always worthwhile getting a quick pick of Ziege on there. There we go, coming across the line. Cargaloo brings it home in pole position. Absolutely fantastic bit of racing going on there. Let's get the timetables up. Let's get a bit of a shot of that, and then we can have a read through what we've got. Right, so as they crossed the line, Cargaloo in pole position takes home the gold. Cooper in 2nd, Jimmy Holm in 3rd, Nashkadashvili in 4th, Kondaborov 5th, Van Samirin in 6th, Kubaki in 7th, Kazlukas 8th, Chris Vining in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is Stamenkovic. Oh, and everyone takes a little breath, a little quick breather. And amazingly, we have Cargaloo ready to jump in for an interview as well. Absolutely fantastic stuff. We are just going to change our view a little bit here to something a little bit nicer to look at. Hopefully, when we drag Cargaloo in, we should be able to speak to him straight away. Cargaloo, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Ah, fantastic. Thank you ever so much for joining us. What a race you put together there. That was mightily close. There was, at the first half of the race, we thought, well, that's it. Ryan Cooper's run away with another win. And then you brought it right back to him just before the pit stages. And then it all looked like that maybe it was a bit of a smart play by Cooper. But then in that that last quarter of the race, you just had absolutely amazing pace out there. You absolutely took the fight back to him. And right in the last 5 minutes of the race, you took that pole position. I mean, just talk us through how that went for you throughout the entire race.
Yeah, that was really challenging. I need to rest after this race. I admit, the I would take the pole. I will take the pole. I missed the bus stop and exploded in the curb. That's why I missed the pole position. That was really bad. But after that, in the race, I stuck behind the Chris Winding. Uh, I thought I cannot overtook him, but he made a mistake and I overtook him. And I didn't think I can catch the Ryan Cooper. It was really good. It was really good race. I mean, I cannot find any words to say. It was really challenging.
I mean, it was absolutely fantastic to watch. Is that your first pole position with AOR, or is this? I can't remember because I know you've been with us a little while now.
I didn't start on pole position.
No, but I mean, you finished in first, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
I finished first. I finished first before like
Ah,
two. I won two races in tier 5 or something like that. It was
okay.
like a years. It was like a year ago.
Right. Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
this is
but
your.
after a year, that was my first win. It was really good. It was really good. Fighting with my uh, friend with Ryan Cooper. It was really honorable.
Yeah.
I cannot say anything.
The two of you seemed to keep it really fair between you. There was no sort of argy-bargy or funny business going on. I mean, the two of you seemed to battle really cleanly. It just seemed that you just seemed to have the pace for a bit longer, especially towards the end of your stints. You seemed to be able to really hold on to the tyres, and it just seemed to really work for you. I mean, obviously, a massive congratulations. Yeah, just a really well raced race.
Yeah,
It was 90.
thank you, thanks a lot.
No worries at all. I mean, it was 90 minutes. It's a fairly hard work track out there, and yeah, and to take the fight to Cooper, I think is a testament of your driving because he has been a dominant force and absolutely fantastic on your first pole position this season. So absolutely great.
Thanks a lot.
No worries
Appreciate it.
at all. Right, and we will grab in our next gentleman, our second place finisher. Here we go. Ryan Cooper, it really seemed like this was your race, and it just seemed at the very last 5 minutes you just couldn't quite hold on to it. I mean, talk us through that. You did an incredibly long first stint, and I thought you were going to have it in that second stint, but it just didn't quite work out. Talk us through your plan.
Yeah, well, I thought at that moment I was gonna have it as well because when Gargulu went into the pit, I don't know what happened or if he was repairing damage, but I had a 7.6 second gap after he came out of the pit, so with like 35 minutes to go, I think. But then one time, I don't know, because the car felt different in the second stint in the chicane. So one time I just went off there and then I lost 1.5 seconds and then he was catching me, but he's really fast here. And then the final 5 minutes, he was really on my ass, let's say. And yeah, I was trying to defend, but he was keeping getting closer and closer, and he could drive different lines. And then in the last corner before the finish line, with 3 laps to go, I don't know. I think I forgot to shift down a gear or something, so I went on the throttle and just understeered straight into the wall, and from that moment it was just over.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that big wall strike on the outside. It was a fairly good old chunk. I mean, it's one of those. It's one of those corners where you sort of think you've got more runoff than you really do. You kind of feel like you can go faster, but you do have to slow down quite a lot. We did see in the last sort of like those last final moments of when you were holding on to pole position at the time, we were really noticing sort of you were getting on the brake sort of mid corner. Was that a defensive drive to try and sort of slow down Cargaloo and sort of stop him from having the runs on the exits? Or was that simply a case that just the car just was no longer doing what you wanted and you were having to sort of slow up mid corner a bit more than you expected?
At the start, it's nice to drive, but I think in general you kind of want to make a V with the Bentley, and but I was just losing, I think, the front, so couldn't turn in that much. And anyways, in like the let's say the second part of the lap, I think he was a lot quicker anyway, especially the last sector. He was like so much quicker than me. Even in the last corner, you would gain like 2 or 3 tenths alone. So yeah, it's just hard with this car.
Well, I mean, anyone racing the Bentley always gets a bit of a round of applause from me. I know, obviously, we have the custom BOP this time round, but it's still very impressive to see that big old girl shaking her stuff around the circuit. It is fantastic to see. Obviously, you're still, I'm going to say, you're still winning the championship because you've had a second, a first, and now this is another second. So I think championship points, you've pretty much got this one in the bag at the moment. I think your closest rival was Nestorov, who I'm just going to have a quick double check of the results and see where they came through. I'm being blind, as always. Nestorov. Oh, well, according to mine, Nestorov was well outside the top 20. So I think points-wise, you should be reasonably safe there. Kabaki, obviously, in third place, but he was a fair few points behind you. So I think championship-wise, still very much at the front. But yeah, it was a very, very well-fought race this evening. But I think, as you've said as well, Kargaloo sort of deserved the win for that one. He had such good pace. I mean, it was some seriously good racing between you two.
Yeah, he lives and breathes Watkin, and I've also known him for quite a while, so that also helps with the racing. So you can keep it clean, you don't do stupid stuff. So yeah, but it was fun. It was fun until I hit the wall. Then it was a bit less fun, but that's always the case when you're losing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, it's not just the physical damage to the car; it's sort of that mental thing as well, isn't it? It breaks your confidence a little bit, and just you notice the fatigue towards the end of the race. But there we go, another podium finish for you though, Ryan Cooper. So absolutely fantastic. The chat was going wild for you pretty much the entire race. So always nice to get the Cooper fans in with us. Thank you ever so much for joining us in the booth as well, mate.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night.
Thank you, mate. Good night yourself.
Bye-bye.
Right, so that is us done this evening. That was another Tier 2 Tuesday. That was Watkins Glen, all done and dusted. Let's have a quick look where we're going next week. So we are off to Brands Hatch next week. Back to a 60-minute race as well. So that will be no refueling and a mandatory tyre change. But that is next week. So look forward to it then. We are here as well, 7:30 on Mondays for Tier 1 and then 7:30 on Tuesdays for Tier 2 Tuesdays. Thank you ever so much for joining us, and we will see you again next week.